Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another epic game of chess where we're switching over to chess.com today to see how we fare against the chess.com community. Right now I'm 1769, but I don't play on chess.com all that often. But when I do, I play c6 as my first move is black, no matter what. So let's just hop right on into it. The reason that I stepped away from chess.com is I felt that there were more cheaters. Yeah, I said it. That's just what I felt. And then I feel as if also on the computer, at least, like if you're playing on a computer, I think that Lichess is just better. What are we going to see? Pawn push or pawn take? Neither. All right, so we're just going to bring another knight. We might see just a crazy expansion on this side. So we'll maybe entice this pawn push. It's not good for us, that's for sure. But I'm okay with just hopping into a position that I've at least played before. Maybe minus this move. This would come later. I don't know. That's another thing. Lichess has so much stuff that chess.com does not offer. Like, you can see how many games have been in this exact position. You can see, like, you get free computer analysis on chess.com. I think it's just a little suboptimal. Okay, so opening this allows this check and then this check. Do I have the resources to defend this? Check, block. I would get pinned, and this would suck. So I think we're just going to put the knight there, and if he takes, we might even take back this way. Okay, or we just trade off the light square bishop. Let's just trade everything, bro. Let's just everything. Why not? Why not? You can't take. Oh, you can check, though, and then take. But I can defend with the knight, and then it defends this. I'm a genius. No, I'm just kidding. That's a mistake. Sometimes things in chess, they do just work out without a immense amount of calculation. Like this. I didn't see the check, but there's a defense because the chessboard is crazy and there is always defensive resources. I couldn't tell you how many times people will just like resign in a winning or equal position because they're like, "Oh, it's over." And when I say people, I mean myself because I've definitely resigned from an equal savable position many, many times. I don't see what he's thinking. Bro, just bring the knight. Bring the knight. Bring a rook. Okay, yeah, bring the knight. I think I might do the same. We both want a castle. Neither of us have castled. I'm sure we both want to do it. I probably want to do it a little bit more than him. Because he's rated, a couple points higher than me. So if I bring this in, you're still undefended. This check, how scary is that? I mean, you pin the knight, I come in, then you hit us both. That's not what we want to see. So boom, boom, boom. You hit everything, and then I just lose the game. I could take this time to castle. Because we don't want to see this check. What if I take and he gets a knight to the middle? He might even take with the pawn, then we castle. Let's see. If he takes with the knight, he has an isolated pawn over here. If he doesn't, then I get to castle. So this check, I'm just getting a little bit... Wait a minute. That would be checkmate. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself in a situation like that. Bro is looking at my little H-pawn in the corner. So what do I do about that? And he's got this cheeky little check that I don't have. But I really want to defend his knight from coming to the middle of the board. And if I am successful in castling, I think I'm going to be a little tad bit safer than our friend over here. But I got to do something with this knight. Got to do something with the knight so I can do something with the rook. If I didn't move... I talked about how it was checkmate. So what are the options? Take. His queen gets in. And I've got like really not a lot of good. like come in, check, block, and then it's just my queen against the world. That's not gonna work. I could castle now. What an interesting idea. Castle now. Probably we would just see like this. Then he can even sacrifice and threatens checkmate. So castling seemed like it was a cool idea for a second, but that is not going to work. Is scooting over... It hurts. It hurts my soul to even make a move like that. Oof. I can't live with myself. I can't live with myself. So I'm just down a pawn against a player that's a little higher rated than me. It's not the end of the world. I haven't completely blundered away winning. He still does need to castle. And if he does, then I might be in a little bit of a problemita. Dude is going to double the rooks over here. I love it. Well, I can develop my knight and attack the rook and sort of defend my rook, but completely just cage my queen in. My queen is hungry, and this check is still not fun. If we see this check, do I dare suggest a little scoot over here? Situate my knight more in the middle of the board? I don't hate that idea. But then if we double it, I mean, if he slides in, I can scoot over. Take, check, lose my queen. His king is just so gosh darn safe. What if I just get, like, aggressive? Or what if I need to do something with this rook? This rook isn't really doing nothing with his life. So let's bring a rook. I'm also down a minute and a half on the clock. This is not the educational chess video that I had thought in my head. Sometimes what I do is I go into these videos and I'm like, I'm going to show you this, and this. And then it doesn't work out. So if he comes in, I don't have to do anything. This is defended. And if he goes boom, boom, I can defend by scooting out of the way. What if I hop in? Almost definitely we see this. If I scoot up, here, we attack your queen first. You hit us with check. That's not going to work. Okay, so let's think about it again. What if I do it with my queen? Threaten a queen trade? Scoot up to combat this with, hey, I just take you, and then take your other one? We're going for this one. We're going for this. Almost definitely we see this. I then scoot up, I believe. Or scoot over. Scoot over doesn't work. He comes in. I take. No. I was talking about scooting up earlier. How crazy of an idea is that? Because, yeah, if I go here, he can hit me. Where's your next check, bro? If I slide up, I'm all of a sudden threatening this fork. So I think scooting up's the idea. This check is covered by my knight. This one is covered by my pawn and my rook. This just, we took all the sting out of it. And this check is pretty much going to happen whether you like it or not. Check. And we just grab the queen. I'm sorry, my friend. Let's see if he resigns. He might not. He might want to play on. But that's rough. That's rough. I was definitely the one getting pressured. But in conclusion, Lichess players are superior. I like the idea of stopping that knight dead in his tracks. This knight could get a little bit annoying. Like a knight by itself is not that great, but when it's like he's against all of my heavy pieces, basically my heavy pieces are just going to get threatened by it. So like anywhere he puts the knight, like if he gets the knight on a good square, it's like the squares, I don't know how I'm explaining this. Like if the knight's here, the squares that the knight is attacking and stuff make it nearly impossible for me to operate. I think I'm basically up a queen. Maybe we just slide in here. How are you going to protect all these weak pawns, buddy? Like I can check here. If the knight moves, I'm threatening the rook. I'm also threatening to bring my other rook to the middle of the party. It's not really what you want to see, where I play something like check and then win a bunch of pawns. But we're just going to do it. We're just going to do it. I'm going to grab this pawn. I'm going to double up like this. I make way for my rook to fly in here and give more checks. This diagonal is now cut off. It's a more or less resignable position. The queen is just going to be way too strong, and then at least the way it is, like his rooks are not coordinated very well. So right now my queen is far more powerful than his two rooks, I would say, because like this doubling doesn't do anything, and then this doubling doesn't do anything, and then a rook by itself is not as good. It's just simply not as good. Like, let's explain it like this. If you have two rooks versus a queen, the rooks are worth 10 points. But if you have one rook versus one queen, I don't think that it's worth 5 points. If anything, if it's just like that, it's less. If that makes sense. Every piece has some value. They're all relative. Bro, I don't know what you are thinking so much about. Check is the first move that I see. Check and fork these pieces is what I see next. Check here. Check here. Check here. Checkmate. Right? Check here. Wait. Never mind. He could come here. All right. Let's just play it simple, and we're going to fork the two valuable pieces. Now he can absolutely resign. Absolutely. Doesn't matter what he does. He is cooked. So we're going to grab that. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm happy to defeat somebody on chess.com after such a long time of not playing on here, but the way I won was not attractive. And so I don't even know how to do an analysis on here like that's worthwhile. So what I might do is just copy it and put it into Lichess and look at it over there. So I'll see you there. And here we are in the super tiny analysis because I couldn't figure out how to do it on chess.com. So I brought it on over to our house over here, Lichess. And I shrunk it super small so we can see everything. I could resize it, but this analysis is really not worth going into a crazy amount of detail. So you guys can't see it. I played 92% accurate. He played 75% accurate. And we basically just got a nice and boring position out of the opening where potentially a pawn expansion would have been the key idea for our opponent here. He could have just also traded here and then pushed this pawn, and then he's one step closer onto just this huge space advantage over here. That's probably what I would have played for if I was him. But regardless, it's still pretty much even. It's he has a +1 advantage. Now it's basically even again. And then here, I saw that this was checkmate and then forgot that it was being attacked. So I just completely ignored that. And I had time. I had plenty of time to save that, and I just didn't. And then so actually the best move was to take. Scooting over and being weak gave him the opportunity to start pushing things forward, and he didn't. He decided to scoot the king up, and things are almost equal again, where, I shuffle around a little bit. I thought about this for a second, getting active with my queen, but then I said, no, we're going to get active with the knight. This is obviously a good square for my knight, and it's threatening this, which is only defended by the queen. And if the king scoots over, I can still sacrifice into that, was my whole idea. He gives us a check, and then let's turn this computer on. What was my best move? Best move. Best move. Let's turn this back off so my face doesn't blur. And then he just threatened the knight. If you're going to learn anything from this video, I don't think it was the opening. I don't think it was any really real tactics. It's a one-move blunder. But one important thing to think about, definitely in a rapid game, in a bullet game, I get it. You make a move and it's like, oh, what's going to happen? But when you attack a piece, when you just directly attack a piece, you need to think, where is it going to go? And generally what you need to think about first is the squares coming to your side of the board. So, yes, the knight can also scoot back a couple squares. Those aren't the squares you really need to worry about as much as the ones moving forward. Okay? So when you attack a piece, if they're not going to take the piece that you're attacking with, the piece is going to move. You got to think about where it's going to move. And right here, there's just this fork. We pick it up, and amazingly, I played 92% accurate. So hanging this pawn was my 8%, and then after that, everything was pretty much smooth sailing. We gobble up a pawn. He walks into this fork, take, and this didn't save anything. This move didn't make any sense at all because I'm literally just replacing the pawn and reinstalling the fork. So this was instead of just losing the rook, he decided to lose the knight and then the rook. So that didn't make any sense at all, period. And he resigns, as he should, because anyone should resign in shame after making that knight move. That was terrible. So I'm going to play another game. That one was a little bit just a one-move blunder. I don't know how I feel about that. But we're doing pretty well on chess.com. So if you've been watching my videos, thank you so much. I'm going to keep making them, and hopefully I just get better at it. So you're the best.